Imagine standing in the pouring rain, all alone, feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Now picture a stranger offering you something you never expected, kindness. What happens next will blow your mind. Stay tuned to discover how a simple act of compassion changes everything, turning a soldier's darkest day into a life-altering moment. This is the story of how one woman's gesture in the rain turned a soldier's life upside down, forever. Don't miss it. The sound of the rain was deafening, but in that brief moment under the umbrella, everything else seemed to fade away. Jasmine stood close enough to the soldier to offer warmth, but far enough to respect the unspoken boundaries between them. She could feel the tension in his shoulders, the weight of the world on his back, but there was something else too, a hint of gratitude in his eyes, a recognition of the small act of kindness she had extended. As they stood in silence, the soldier's posture began to soften. The rain, though relentless, no longer felt like an enemy, but rather a background to the quiet understanding that was passing between them. Jasmine, who had always believed that a little kindness could change someone's day, felt a sense of fulfillment in this simple interaction. It wasn't grand or life-changing, but it was real. For the soldier, it was a fleeting escape from the harshness of the world around him. For Jasmine, it was another reminder of how small gestures could make a big difference. As the bus finally pulled up, she gave him a gentle nod, a silent promise that sometimes, even in the worst of storms, there's a moment of shelter waiting. As they stood there, huddled under the umbrella, the rain falling relentlessly around them, Sergeant David's shoulders seemed to carry the weight of the world. His uniform clung to his body, drenched from head to toe, but it wasn't the rain that seemed to affect him the most. It was the heaviness in his heart, a grief that no amount of rain could wash away. I've been stationed here for a while now, but today, David's voice trailed off as he struggled to find the right words. Today's been different, he finally said, his voice thick with exhaustion. We were on a mission, but I've never felt so defeated. Something about this city, it feels heavy today, like it's all weighing down on me. Jasmine could feel the pain in his words, and her heart ached for him. She had no idea what it was like to be in his shoes, to carry the burden of loss, but she could understand the toll it took on someone. She stepped closer, her umbrella now a shared shelter from the storm. What happened? She asked gently, her voice a soft invitation for him to open up. David paused, his breath shaky as he fought back the flood of emotion. I lost a comrade today. A friend, one of my best friends. His eyes looked distant, as if seeing something far beyond the rain-soaked street. In this line of work, you never get used to it. But today, he paused again, his voice faltering. It hurt in a way I can't describe. I just wanted to disappear to escape it all. Jasmine's heart tightened as she placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. I'm so sorry, she said softly, her voice full of genuine empathy. Losing someone you care about is never easy. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The rain continued to pour, yet the silence between them was filled with an unspoken understanding. Jasmine, with her steady presence, had done more than just offer an umbrella. She had given David something far more valuable in that moment, a safe space to grieve, to be heard without judgment. As Jasmine closed the door behind her, she couldn't shake the strange feeling that lingered from earlier. Her simple act of kindness, sharing an umbrella with a soldier in the rain, had felt like nothing more than a natural response to someone in need. Yet, as she walked back to her apartment that night, something about the encounter had stuck with her. She hadn't realized the depth of what it meant to David until now. The knock on her door came as a shock. It was late, and she hadn't expected anyone. When she opened it, she was stunned to find David standing there, his face a mixture of hesitation and something deeper, something she couldn't quite place.
David? She asked, surprised. What are you doing here?
He took a deep breath, his voice trembling. I don't know how to explain this, he started. I wanted to thank you. You helped me today more than you could know. Your words, your kindness, they gave me hope. I've been struggling, and you reminded me that there's still good in this world. Jasmine stood silent, feeling overwhelmed by his gratitude. I'm glad I could help, she said softly, feeling humbled. David shook his head, his eyes earnest. You did more than help. You gave me something to hold on to. He handed her an envelope, his hands slightly shaking. Inside was a photo, David and his fallen comrade smiling together, alive. It was a gift, a token of gratitude, a small yet meaningful gesture that spoke volumes about the impact of her kindness. Over the next few weeks, Jasmine and David's unexpected friendship grew stronger. They continued to meet, their encounters often happening at the most unlikely times, usually after a storm or when life felt unsettled. Each meeting became a small testament to their bond, one forged through quiet moments of understanding. Despite the chaos surrounding them, their friendship provided both a sense of stability and comfort. David was still grappling with the grief of losing his friend, but the weight seemed lighter when he shared it with Jasmine. Her support, though simple, was unwavering. It wasn't about offering solutions or words of wisdom, but about being present, allowing David to feel seen and heard. Slowly, he started to pick up the pieces of himself he thought were lost forever. The emotional weight that had once seemed unbearable now felt manageable with Jasmine by his side. She had become his anchor, a constant reminder that healing often begins when we allow ourselves to lean on others. Jasmine, too, began to realize how much she had grown through their friendship. She found herself inspired by David's quiet resilience, his ability to carry his burdens without letting them break him. There was something raw and real about the way he let her in, something that reminded her of the strength that comes from vulnerability. Thank you, David said one evening as they watched the sunset together. You've taught me that it's okay to let others in, to lean on someone. Jasmine smiled, her heart warm. Sometimes the best thing we can do for others is to just show up, to be there. That's all we really need to do. The rain had long since passed, but the connection between Jasmine and David was something that time could not erase. Each day, as their friendship deepened, they both found themselves transformed in ways they hadn't expected. For David, the grief that had once consumed him began to ease. Slowly but surely, the dark cloud that had hovered over his heart for so long began to lift, replaced by a sense of hope he thought he had lost forever. Jasmine, on the other hand, realized that kindness wasn't just about the act itself, but about its lasting impact. She had always believed in helping others, but she had never fully grasped how a simple gesture could change someone's life. One evening, as they sat in the quiet of Jasmine's apartment, David looked at her with a softness in his eyes that spoke volumes. I'll never be able to thank you enough, he said, his voice full of emotion. But I'll live my life in a way that honors your kindness. You saved me when I didn't even know I needed saving. Jasmine smiled, feeling the weight of his words settle in her heart. You saved yourself, David, she replied gently. You just had to remember that you weren't alone. And in that moment, both of them understood that their bond was more than just a fleeting moment in time. It was a reminder that sometimes the simplest acts of kindness can save us in ways we never thought possible. Wow, what a journey! From a simple act of kindness to a life-changing bond. This story proves that even the smallest gestures can make the biggest impact. If you felt inspired by this powerful story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs a little reminder of the power of kindness. Your support means the world, and we've got so many more incredible stories coming your way. Drop a comment below and let us know how this story touched you. Together, let's spread positivity and keep this beautiful journey going. See you in the next one.